this will be covered under that.
I think we do the whole works.
I would move that we go with Rickway. I've had them do things for us, and they're very good.
1 second.
For,
You're going just the,
Whatever you decide.
just the carburetor or the vinyl also?
I think the whole thing,
I think, is that your motion?
yes.
Okay. Is that what you're seconding? Okay, I wanna make sure. Okay.
okay, so you, Jim and Andy, you are talking both
Carpenter area and
17.3
vinyl.
and 53.
Both of them.
Yes, the
Okay.
whole list
The
there.
whole shebang.
And the reason I put mailroom won't do now, because I'm tight. I want to keep some of that money, but that's all right.
Put a crowbar in your wallet, let's go.
My only question on this is, are we doing this in the right order, or do we need to get the drainage fixed outside before we do the carpet is my only concern.
To be honest with you, I'm kind of going back and forth with emails, trying to get feedback on the landscaping stuff. We have a local gentleman who's interested in putting a bid together, and I have not really heard from him.
I think it's important to get that done if we're gonna do.
And I think it's important to get that done this fall before spring comes with all the runoff and stuff.
We do have one quote right now. I don't know if I can find it.
I just wanna make sure we're not getting new flooring in and then we have water coming in, being an issue, and we'll have the,
Very, very good point.
doing
Get
the
the
right.
water running away.
Very good point. Can we commit to Rickway and then,
Yeah.
pending, solution of our, water abatement, we would still contract with them, but they would do it after we solve their water problem?
Yes, I would say we probably need to commit to Rickway to get on their schedule.
I think
so,
Make sure
too.
they're not standing
Okay.
around waiting for it.
I think so too.
So I believe Jim motioned to go with Rickway, both estimates, Andy seconded it. All in favor of using the Rickway bid to do the flooring in City Hall?
Alright,
And if I could just add, we will, like you said, talking about scheduling it, it'll probably be like a 4 or 5 day thing per room. So we'll try to get this done when we don't have township meetings or city council meetings. And then the office area in there, we are gonna literally have to take the desks apart, get them out of that room, and, we'll sit here for a week as they do that room.
can they do half and half,
Or something. We'll have to, timing wise, and I can talk with Brian about that.
And clearly probably look at the tile in the police station when they're here, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the time
They
to
measured
do
it
it.
already and everything, I was here that day there.
But I agree with Mike that we should hold off doing this until we solve their water abatement. We can contract with
Is that what we-
Rickway, but
Oh.
tell them that we will delay
Oh.
the project until we get some water solution.
And if the landscaping is early spring, we can still do carpet this winter, can't we? As long as we...
That's
Okay.
what's going through
I
my
think
mind.
we really push for this fall for landscaping
Yeah.
yet if we can. because-
Spring is your biggest
That's the
water
biggest
issues
issue.
as
I'd
a
like to
rule.
have it done.
So it'd be sweet to get it done this fall.
If you have a mold issue possibly going on here too, that's a
Which we do.
huge health hazard, and that's a whole lot of dominoes.
I don't wanna wait till spring for.
I agree, I
Yeah.
think we have to push it forward if we can.
Yeah.
Get it done before freezing.
So, the carpet?
No, the
Both.
water.
I'm talking about
Both.
mold in
Both.
here, yeah.
Both, yeah.
You can't have.
And I believe
mold.
Brian's working on some estimates on some of the HVAC stuff to try to help with
Right.
some of this too.
Well, and, yeah, 'cause I mean, do we keep remedying the situation with a Band-Aid, or do we fix it? I mean, that's a health hazard, we have staff here all the time, 2 departments essentially. So,
Okay.
I wish I could, I don't have it in front of me, folks. We do have a quote for landscaping around the entire building from Len's Lawn Care. I can't find it right now, I'm sorry.
We have a local person, I guess, give them a week to get the code in and to be done this fall, and if we don't get it by our next meeting, we'll go with one bid. Does that seem fair?
It's totally,
We're kinda running out of fall here.
yeah.
Hate to say that, but.
Why you gotta talk like that? So rude.
okay, so I will call for the carpet tomorrow and just mention that we're working on some landscaping issues as well. But like you say, get it on their docket, so to speak.
Okay, new business number 1, looking at some more of the budget.
Okay, tonight is Public Safety Night. We're going to look at the police and fire budgets. Dave is here, obviously, that's the person sitting next to me. Your first page is the police budget, and I'm sorry if I appeared a little off kilter here about 15 minutes ago, but Dave pointed something out on the very bottom line item. That's not supposed to say $3,000, it's supposed to say $9,800. I put a typo in there, that's my bad.
Bottom line is still the same.
The bottom line of the budget, $615,000, is the same. I just put the wrong number in other equipment. So Dave will probably slap me around a little bit tomorrow, but then we'll get her fixed. So, yeah, Dave is here tonight. If you guys have any questions, I just want to point out a couple things. We are on contract with JWP, that, JWP does pay a portion of the school resource officer's expenses.
How much was that?
61,000.
Yep, it's right on the very top of the
Right.
screen.
Oh, shoot, yep, sorry about that.
The school pays 70% of the cost of the officer, which includes wages, workers' comp, PERA, health insurance, okay? The school covers 70%.
So, did we adopted the 64 in 2021 with the school paying at 75%. There's still a big jump, or am I?
No, and I'm gonna explain that in a second.
Oh, okay.
The health insurance increase is due to, and I'm not gonna say any names or anything, because I can't do that in a public meeting, but we do have some changes, possible changes with some health insurance line items for employees. So that's where you see that change.
In the
In health-
87?
Yeah, in health insurance, yep, the red number there.
Okay.
Yep. That may or may not take place, we don't know yet. I'm just being safe at
And
this
that was
point.
that was the big increase?
That was
Okay, I see.
Really the bigger increase in the whole budget, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So the budget itself goes up a little more than $36,000, and Melissa, what you just pointed out is $23,000, so that's obviously a big chunk of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna guess that was the increase on the first line item too, because that's up about 9.
Yep, that's a cost of living adjustment for all
Right.
employees, yep.
I know I'll get peppered with questions. Okay, and then, sorry, there was one more. Oh, there wasn't, that was the only questions I had.
Don't lie.
Sorry. I'm not sorry, okay? And so then you're just kinda waiting to see what's gonna happen on that 23K?
That, and I'm waiting for like property insurance, vehicle insurance.
Yeah.
We find all of our insurance numbers out usually around Thanksgiving. So, yep. This is and I should point this out with the entire city budget, and this is the point where we're looking at the draft and we spend the rest of the calendar year fine-tuning
Yeah.
numbers, line items.
Squeezing the chief for nickels and dimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything else is pretty self-explanatory, I really don't.
I think so. One item I did want to say, and this is also in addition with our fire department, but the radio payments that we made for our radio system that we had been paying Waseca County Sheriff's Office, those payments are removed in 2022. So the radio payments that both departments had in their budgets are eliminated. And that's actually pretty significant.
Yeah.
Where's,
Which line item is that?
Well, that's the 3,000 on the very bottom that I screwed up on.
so you have one, it says see Dave's notes on dues and subscriptions, but I don't see Dave's notes.
They're right here.
Oh.
I was looking for that too, but,
Red line, page 1.
Yep.
I don't think that was one that, we weren't privy to that page.
We're not special enough for that
Yes.
page.
So we have, there's a 1, 2, 4, There's about 16 items that, the police department pays annual or monthly fees into each year.
Gotcha.
I don't know if you wanna... Oh, you got it there.
Yeah. Clear is an investigative database that we use when we're doing criminal investigations. We have access to that, and it gives us very comprehensive information on people, places, businesses. So it's a really good investigative tool. Microbuilt is the company that we use primarily when we're doing background investigations for police officers, background investigations for liquor license applicants and whatnot. It's credit history type of thing,
Okay.
where you can check credit histories. Ranges for the range that we go out on the range. There's a couple of memberships, International Association of Chiefs of Police, et cetera. A couple of those. Thompson is, Post Board is for when we renew licenses, peace officer licenses. Thompson is for our law books. We get a set of 2 criminal procedure law books every year. iCrime Fighter is an app that we use on our phones to do case notes and things like that. We can set up cases, take pictures, do audio statements, et cetera, that sort of thing. And that's kind of the quick rundown on that list.
Fair, thank you.
Any other questions, please?
Looks like a good start.
Any other questions, police department?
Looks like a good start to me, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
The next page, fire department.
What you need?
You don't need your paper back?
That, yeah.
Coming down.
Okay, I wanna point out, and I wanna compliment Mark. Mark and I sat down and looked at his preliminary budget here last week, and really, the fire department budget, as you can tell on the very bottom of the screen, the fire department budget went up just about $10,000 from last year, or a little more than $10,000 from last year. That $10,000 increase is completely the on-call pay that we just talked about a little while ago. So Mark actually took the rest of his budget and fine-tuned some line items and took some money away to make sure that that on-call pay would fit within the budget. Does anybody have any questions about any specific line items? I want to point out that the expenses for the fire department is going to be looking at $156,000 here, but the township pays a portion of that.
25%.
25%, exactly. And then we also receive state money, relief money, that also comes out of these expenses. So what we do is we take the difference every year and we put that into the tax levy budget. And I'm not trying to confuse you, but basically the $156,000 in expenses, there's different sources for that. On the top of the page, it shows township contracts, other grants that we receive, and then the state gives us so much money for training, and then we transfer money from the city fund to the fire fund, so.
What about, I just had it, sorry. What is, public officials liability? That's a new line item.
Yeah, that is, does it say K and K by it?
No, the K&K one's the workers' comp.
Looking at 365.
Yeah, okay. That was, oh gosh, that was last spring, I think, that bill.
Yeah,
What are the numbers?
right here.
365?
Yep.
Okay, we pay this company called K&K Insurance. It is basically liability coverage for firefighters or for injuries, it's kind of like a separate supplemental insurance, and we pay that based on the number of calls we go on per year. I always had coded it into another line item, but I put it into here this year, because it's easier to track a little bit.
Okay.
So actually, the more calls we go on, the more insurance we pay.
Gotcha.
Imagine that.
Ah. I don't have any other questions.
Well, thank you to Dave and Mark. I mean, they both worked pretty darn hard at getting these budgets in good shape, so.
Not an easy task.
So just as we look at the budget here, I'm gonna talk for 2 more seconds. Right now, you've looked at all the general fund budgets. At our next city council meeting, we will pass the resolution that adopts our preliminary tax levy. And that preliminary tax levy includes all of our debt service payments that we need to make for our, various street projects. And tomorrow morning, I'm meeting with our finance guy and our auditor on the tax levy payments that are required next year. So tomorrow morning, I'll have a good idea of what we need to do for debt service next year. So it's all falling in play.
Without that service, what kind of percentage are we looking at if we left everything right alone?
Really big, like really, really, really big, so,
Double digits?
yeah. So we will have to trim back on some things here, depending on how that debt levy looks. And a big portion of that, Mike, we put a lot of money in next year's budget to pay for our local match for the safe routes to school. Bolton and Mink, Jason told us here a couple weeks ago that there may be a state grant that could pay for the local match. We won't know until March, but that'd be great if we can take that money out of next year's budget. We'll have to see over the next couple weeks, I guess.
We tried to get him to guarantee it, but he was hesitant on that.
Trying to make an engineer promise 100% on anything.
Can't get them to get water to go downhill.
Seriously.
That's all I have, unless anybody has any other questions. Next meeting, we have our public hearing for the street project, and then, of course, we'll look at the budget.
Yay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.